blood. I'm sharing my screen. Is it visible?
Ma'am.
Okay. So today we'll start circulatory system, and circulatory system mainly consisting blood. Through blood only, all the nutrients which are consumed by us and oxygen are being transferred to each and every cell. Okay, so at first we will know about blood. So blood is a connective tissue. It is a fluid and connective tissue. So which type of connective tissue? Fluid connective tissue. It is connecting the whole body, right? So blood is a fluid connective tissue and it is a very important question. Most of blood components formed in bone marrow by the process hematopoiesis by stem cells. Okay, so in this two line only we have got so many questions. Which type of tissue is blood? It is a fluid connective tissue. Where does mostly major components of blood forms? It formed in bone marrow. And by which process this formation occurs? The process is known as hematopoiesis. And by which cells blood cells are formed? Those are stem cells. Okay. Now, properties of blood. Its color is bright red in arteries, mainly when blood is oxygenated or oxygen rich, then it is bright red. And when it is deoxygenated or carbon dioxide rich, then it is dark red. Mainly oxygen rich blood is oxygen rich blood travels through arteries and deoxygenated blood travels through veins. So mass of blood is 80% of body mass. Means if we divide our body mass into different categories like muscle mass, bone mass, blood mass, then 80% of body is consisting of
Ma'am,
blood.
on the slide it is 8. Is that 8 or 80, ma'am?
It's 8. Body mass. If your body is about 100 kilo, then 8 kilo of your body containing blood. Okay.
You were mentioning it as 80%, so I was thinking there's a mistake on the slide.
Now only?
Yes, ma'am.
No, I think you have heard wrong or something misunderstanding happened. It's not 80, it's 8.
Yeah, ma'am, we too heard 80 only.
Okay, then it may be my fault. Okay, I'm sorry for that. Then it is 8, not 80. Okay, so 8% means if your body is 100 about 100 kilo, then 8% of your body containing blood. And now pH of blood is slightly alkaline, that is 7.35 to 7.45. And test of blood, have you ever tested your blood?
Yes, madam.
How
Yeah,
it
right
tests?
and salty.
Yes, it is slightly salty. And temperature is 38 degrees Celsius or 100.4 degree Fahrenheit. Now viscosity, 3 to 4 times more viscous than water. Okay, means it is 3 to 4 times more denser than water. And what is volume? Volume of blood in our body is about 5 to 6 liter. Okay, means approximately every body is containing 5 to 6 liter of blood. Okay, now what blood transports? Blood mainly transports oxygen, nutrients, hormones, heat. Yes, obviously heat. If any portion of our body is being too hot or too cold, then it will be regulated by blood only by the process of homeostasis. Then protective substances, yes, collagen fiber, white blood cell, all these protective coagulating factors, this all immune cells, lymphatic, lymph are transported by lymph nodes only, means lymphatic fluids only. Lymph is not added here. So all the protective substances are also being transported through blood. And clotting factors. Clotting factors are mainly what? I think we have discussed about this earlier in cell portion, in cell chapter. What are the clotting factors in our body? Mainly, any idea? Anyone?
It's protein, ma'am.
Mhm. Blood clotting is mainly done by platelets. Okay. And what are platelets?
The part of the blood, ma'am.
Yes, it is component of blood. So platelet, mainly blood is containing what? What are containing blood? First of all, red blood cell, white blood cell, platelets, and plasma. Okay, so red blood cells are carrying hemoglobin, so they are containing oxygen. White blood cells are our immune cells or defense mechanism, and platelets are the means clotting factors. Okay, and there is plasma of blood on which all these cells are floating. Some other factors are also there, like collagen fiber, and all these things are also there in blood, but mainly these things: white blood cell, red blood cell, and platelet and plasma. Okay, so platelets are the clotting factors mainly. Now, these are the compositions of blood: white blood cells, red blood cells, plasma, and platelet. These are the four main components of blood. White blood cells containing hemoglobin, that is why, and hemoglobin is made up of iron. So they are red in color and containing oxygen, means carrying oxygen. White blood cells are defense mechanism or army of body. Platelets are clotting factors, and plasma is the fluid on which all these cells are floating. Okay. Now, in this test tube, it is shown that if we store blood, or if we take blood sample and store in laboratory, then the blood cells will sediment, or they will, yes, the sediments of blood cells will be saturated down. Like you can see in this test tube, blood cells are being sedimented down, and the plasma portion is at the above of the sedimentation. Means yellow portion of this test tube is plasma being separated after the after being stored in laboratory, and the heavy portion or the cells of blood are being saturated down. Now, configuration. In blood, 50% of blood is plasma and 45% containing different elements, cellular elements. Those are RBC, WBC, and platelets. Okay, so this is also a very important question 55% of blood is plasma. So, how much of blood is plasma, or what is the percentage of plasma in blood? That is 55. And cellular elements are 45%. Now, what is plasma? Plasma is a pale yellow colored liquid component of a blood that holds the cellular elements of blood in suspension. Okay. Plasma is pale yellow colored liquid component of blood that holds the cellular elements. Now, constituents of plasma. Plasma is consisting mainly water only. It is liquid. So mainly it will contain water. So 91.5% of plasma is water. And next is 7% of proteins. Those are albumins, globulins, and fibrinogen. Now, this fibrinogen is one of the most important part of coagulating factor. Coagulating factor means clotting factor, blood clotting factor. And now, 91.5 plus 7. What is the addition now? What is the result of
98.5. 98.5.
Yes, 98.5. So rest is 1.5. So remaining 1.5% is containing electrolyte ions like sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, all these ions, and gases that are oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen. And other things are nutrients like glucose, amino acid, fatty acids, mainly the macronutrients like glucose is the simplest form of carbohydrate. Amino acid is the simplest form of what?
Protein.
Very good, protein. And fatty acids are the simplest form of fat. So carbohydrate, protein, fat are being carried in their simplest form through blood only. And the waste materials being created by each and every cell should be excreted out from body. And how they will be excreted, or they will be coming to the proper place for excretion, is the medium. What is the medium? It is blood only. Each and every cell creating waste material, and they are releasing their waste material in blood only. So blood is carrying the waste material, and blood is being purified in kidney and producing urine. So what are the components of plasma? First of all, water, then proteins, then other solutes. Those are electrolytes, gases, nutrients, and waste products. Okay. I think this is not too much for you.
No,
Is it?
ma'am. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The electrolytes part, those things, do we have to remember all of them?
See, electrolytes are the ions
Sodium,
only. It's not
potassium, yeah. Sodium, potassium,
calcium.
magnesium, yeah.
These are chlorines.
Calcium, yeah. Magnesium and calcium we can remember, but the other things, HCO3 and
Problem,
the
no problem. Just understand the concept. What are electrolytes? What are electrolytes? Right?
yeah,
These are salts of body
yeah.
or minerals mainly. Okay. So minerals only. Minerals, gases, other nutrients means those are means our simplest form of macronutrients and waste product.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, functions of plasma. What water do? Water absorbs and transports and releases heat. Albumin, globulin, and fibrinogen. These are the proteins. So albumin makes the osmotic balance. Globulins are responsible for defense mechanism. Fibrinogen is responsible for blood clotting. Okay, so this blood clotting factor is most important factor in this point in this phase of net examination, I think. So, what we got in primary factor of blood clotting, that is platelet. Okay, now here we got fibrinogen for blood clotting. So if you get any options for blood clotting, remember these names. Platelets are primary, and then fibrinogen is the fiber or protein. Sorry, fibrinogen is the protein that is responsible for blood clotting. Then electrolytes. Electrolytes are responsible for pH buffering of blood. Okay. So at first we have got water, then proteins, then electrolytes. Now, red blood cells. This is very important question. What is the shape of red blood cell? It is circular and biconcave, non-nucleated. Very important question. It is circular and biconcave, means they are concave from both sides. Okay, means do you know the concept of concave and convex?
Yeah, cave means it forms a hollow portion, like a depression.
Yes,
Vex means it bulges out.
yes. Concave, cave. Remember from the word cave. Cave means gufa, means uh, I think you know the meaning of cave. So cave is the depression. So if we see the structure of red blood cells, then it is depressed from both side. Okay, means it is like a tablet. Medicine means tablets you have seen in medications, and generally tablets are biconvex, but if it is depressed from both sides, then it is biconcave. So red blood cells are biconcave and non-nucleated, means nucleus is not present in red blood cells. Okay. Now, size of red blood cell is 7 to 8 micrometer and thickness is 2.5 micrometer. Color obviously red due to hemoglobin pigment, and this is because of iron present. Iron is present. And red blood cell count in male and female are a bit different. So in adult male, it is 4.5 million RBC per microliter. And in female, it is a bit lower than male, that is 4.8 million RBCs per microliter. And lifespan of RBC, you all know, I think, that is 120 days. Now, erythropoiesis. What is erythropoiesis? It is the process by which production of RBC happens. Okay. The process through which RBC is produced is known as erythropoiesis. So, mainly it happens in bone marrow. Red bone marrow of long bones that are mainly hip bone, breast bone, and ribs. Okay, from these long bones, and the red bone marrow portion produces RBC, mainly in case of adults. But in case of child, bone marrow of all bones producing RBC. And in case of fetus, RBC is produced from liver and spleen. Okay. And here are the two very important terms known as polycythemia, that is increase in number of RBC, and erythropenia, that is decrease in number of RBC. Penia means always decreased. Okay. Penia, erythropenia, deficiency or decrease. Now, functions of RBC. Mainly transport oxygen from lungs to tissue and transport carbon dioxide from tissue to lungs. Now, normal blood contains 13 to 15 gram of hemoglobin per 100 milliliter of blood. Okay. And one RBC contains about 250 million molecules of hemoglobin. Each molecule of hemoglobin carries 4 molecules of oxygen due to the chemical configuration. Okay. So, normal blood contains 13 to 15 gram of hemoglobin per 100 ml of blood. This is a bit important question. And one RBC contains 20 to 50 million of molecules of hemoglobin, and each molecule of hemoglobin carries 4 molecules of oxygen. Now, white blood cells. Shape of white blood cells are amoeboid nucleated. Okay. Now, these white blood cells are nucleated, and size of white blood cell is 12 to 15 micrometer. Now, the color of white blood cell, that is colorless and translucent, and count of white blood cell is 5,000 to 10,000 WBC per microliter. Okay. Tell me, what is the count of RBC?
Ma'am,
Are
for
you?
males it's 5.4 million per microliter, and for females it's 4.8 million per microliter.
Mm, okay. See here. This is the count of RBC, 4.5, sorry, 5.4 million and 4.8 million RBC per microliter. And this is the amount of hemoglobin per 100 ml of blood. And lifespan of white blood cells are about 10 to 13 days. Okay. Now, the process through which white blood cells are produced, that is known as leukopoiesis. Leukopoiesis is the process through which white blood cells are being produced. Now, in adults, white blood cells are being produced from liver, spleen, tonsils, and bone marrow. But in case of fetus, it is being produced from liver and spleen. Now again, similar terms in case of white blood cells. Increase in WBC is known as leukocytosis, and decrease in number of WBC known as leukopenia. Pathological increase in number of WBC is known as leukemia or blood cancer. Okay, means yes, blood cancer means leukemia is another term for blood cancer. Now, types of WBC are granular and agranular. These are not so much important for you, but just for information. See this slide. Granular is further divided into neutrophils, acidophils, and basophils. And agranular are further divided into lymphocytes and monocytes. But you have to remember all the 5 types of WBC. Very important question. Neutrophil, acidophil, basophil, lymphocyte, monocyte. These are the 5 types of RBC, mainly divided into granular and agranular. Granular is containing first 3, neutrophil, acidophil, basophil. Agranular is containing lymphocyte and monocyte. Very, very important question, types of RBC. Sorry, WBC. Now, granular WBC is neutrophils, acidophils, and basophils. Appearance you can see in this picture. In features of neutrophils are nucleus with 3 to 4 lobes, and functions: destroy bacteria by phagocytosis, produced from bone marrow. All these 3 types of RBC are produced from bone marrow. Now, acidophils or eosinophils. You have heard this name eosinophil, eosinophilia, all these terms. When anybody is suffering from too much of allergic functions in nose, or means allergic symptoms are being seen when eosinophils are increasing. So acidophils are also known as eosinophils. Feature of eosinophil is nucleus with 2 lobes, and function is combat the effect of histamine in allergic reactions. Okay. And next is basophil. Basophil is nucleus with indistinct lobes. Okay. Means the lobes of basophils are not distincted. And functions of basophils are liberate heparin and histamine in allergic reactions to intensify inflammation response. Okay, mainly these are the healing process, but when these things these things become too much, then we are getting irritated by all these things. When eosinophils or basophil increase in our body, our allergic reactions trigger up, and we get so much suffered from these things. Now, agranular WBC are lymphocyte and monocyte. Lymphocyte by name you can understand it's part of lymphatic system. And features of lymphocyte: appearance of a lymphocyte you can see in this picture, and features are smallest of WBC and large round nucleus. Means lymphocytes are the smallest type in these 5 types of WBC, and it is large round nucleus. Means it is having a large round nucleus. Function of lymphocyte: produce antibodies. Obviously it's a part of lymphatic system, so these produce antibodies. And lymphocytes are made from bone marrow, spleen, and tonsils. And monocytes are appearance of monocytes you can see in this picture, and it's the largest of WBC. Means it is the largest type of WBC, and large kidney shaped nucleus. Means it is having the nucleus of kidney shape. Okay, and its function is ingest microorganisms. It ingests microorganisms. Okay, and it is being produced from bone marrow. Now, platelets. Shape of platelets are circular, biconvex, non-nucleated. Okay, so shape of platelets are a bit tablet-like structure in medication. It is biconvex. What was the shape of RBC?
Biconcave.
Very good. It was circular, biconcave, and non-nucleated. Now here only difference is platelets are biconvex, means bulged from both sides like a tablet. Now size of the platelets are 2 to 4 micrometer and count of platelets are 1,50,000 to 4 lakh platelets per microliter. And lifespan of platelets are 5 to 9 days. Functions of platelets are blood clotting. Now, the production of platelet is known as thrombopoiesis. Okay, the process through which platelets are being produced is known as thrombopoiesis. And increase in number of platelets are known as thrombocytosis. And decrease in number of platelets are known as thrombocytopenia. Now, classification and structure of blood vessels. Till now, we have discussed about the structure and components and configuration of blood. Now, we will know the structure of classification and structure of blood vessels. Blood vessels are the channels or conduits or tubes through which blood is distributed to body tissues. Blood vessels are classified as either arteries, capillaries, and veins. Now, at first, arteries. Arteries carry blood from away from the heart. So, what are arteries? Arteries are those blood vessels which carry away blood from the heart. Not like that, which are containing oxygenated blood or oxygen like blood, that is artery. It's not like that. The blood vessels which are carrying blood away from heart, that is artery. And that is why pulmonary artery is containing deoxygenated blood. Okay. Why it is known to artery? Because although it is containing deoxygenated blood, but it is carrying away blood from heart to lungs. That is why artery. It is carrying away blood from heart. So those blood vessels which are carrying blood away from heart are known as artery. Generally, the blood vessels carry away blood from heart are oxygenated blood. That is why it is generally known as arteries are carrying oxygenated blood and veins are carrying deoxygenated blood. It's not like that. Arteries are the blood vessels which carry away blood from heart. So blood is pumped from heart into large elastic arteries that branch repeatedly into smaller and smaller arteries until branching results in microscopic arteries called arterioles. Okay. So at first from heart, when the main artery is releasing from heart for the circulation throughout the body, then it is a large structure, means it is The diameter of that aorta is a little bit more than normal arteries of body. So it is being branched from the main artery to heart, means from the main artery from heart to rest of the body. It is being branched from main to sub branch to more branch to more branch to more branches. So when these branches come to that little part which is microscopic, means it the now the branches are not seen in naked eyes, then it is known as arterioles. Okay, now you can see the structure of artery wall. The wall of an artery consists of three layers. The innermost layer, that is tunica intima, also called tunica interna, is simple squamous epithelium surrounded by connective tissue basement membrane with elastic fibers. Okay, so innermost layer is known as tunica interna. And what is this tunica interna made up of? This tunica interna is made up of simple squamous epithelium surrounded by connective tissue basement membrane with elastic fibers. Yes, it should be elastic because the movement of muscles should be there, because blood flows through these vessels, and sometimes blood pressure increases, sometimes decreases, so it should be elastic. Now, middle layer is known as tunica media, is primarily smooth muscle and is usually the thickest layer. It not only provides support for the vessel but also changes vessel diameter to regulate blood flow and blood pressure. Okay, so the middle layer, that is tunica media, primarily made up of smooth muscle, usually the thickest layer, not only provides support for the vessel but also changes the vessel diameter to regulate blood flow and blood pressure. Now, the outermost layer, which attaches the blood vessel to surrounding tissue, is tunica externa or tunica adventitia. This layer is connective tissue with varying amounts of elastic and collagenous fibers. So, innermost layer is tunica interna, middle layer is tunica media, and outer layer is tunica externa. Now, capillaries. Capillaries, arterioles, and venules break up into the thin and numerous of the blood vessels from connection between vessels that carry blood away from heart and vessels that return blood to heart. Means capillary is the common name for arterioles and venules. We have already learned what are arterioles. When artery is being divided or branched further, and now the branches are not seen in naked eyes, then it is known as arterioles. Same thing in case of veins. So arterioles and venules are commonly known as capillaries. Uh, The primary function of capillaries exchange of materials between blood and tissue cells. Now you can see how capillaries are being divided: arterioles, tissue cells, venules, artery and vein. Sorry. This is the structure of capillary distribution with the metabolic activity of body tissue. Okay, means this is the network of blood vessels in, means everywhere in the body. That is why if any type of injury happens in any part of body, blood comes out, because everywhere this network of capillaries are present. Now, tissues such as skeletal muscle, liver, kidney have extensive capillary network because they are metabolically active and require an abundant supply of oxygen and nutrients. Okay, skeletal muscle mainly, and kidney and liver. They need abundant supply of oxygen and nutrients. That is why they are highly uh, mm, they are having extensive capillary networks, because they always they are metabolically active. Other tissues such as connective tissue have a less abundant supply of capillaries. Okay, like connective tissue. What are the examples of connective tissue?
Blood.
And if you are saying blood here, I am asking for the blood here. Yes, tell me other types of connective tissue.
Skin.
Hmm? You all have forgotten about the
Skin.
slides.
There are 7 types of connective tissue. No, sir.
I'm asking for just few examples. Do you remember the concept of connective tissue?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now please tell me examples.
Cartilage connective. There are blood connective tissue. There is then there is in cartilage connective tissue. We have three kinds: hyaline, fibrocartilage, and also
I
the
am
third
not
one.
asking about the
Skin.
type. I am asking for example only.
Skin,
Skin. I told. Yeah, skin is a connective tissue.
muscle, skin, organs.
Organs?
Three.
Tendons and ligaments, ma'am.
Yes. Very simple. Ligaments, tendons. Yes, blood is also a connective tissue. But I am asking for some other examples where blood can go. Okay. So very easy example, that is ligament, tendon, because connective tissue means they are connecting other parts of body. Ligament is connecting bone to bone. So ligament is a type of connective tissue. Tendon is connecting muscle to bone. So tendon is a type of connective tissue. I think you people have forgotten all about the previous slides. Please go through. So yes, what we were discussing, that yes, skeletal muscle, liver and kidney are metabolically active, so they need abundant amount of supply of oxygen and nutrients. So capillaries or network of capillaries are seen much more in skeletal muscle, liver and kidney. And other tissues such as connective tissue have a less abundant supply of capillaries. Okay, this was the point, that tissues like connective tissue do not have abundance of capillary supply or network of capillary, because they don't need too much of blood. Too much of blood or nutrient or oxygen is needed for skeletal muscle, liver and kidney, because they are metabolically active. Now, smooth muscle cells in arterioles, where they branch to form capillaries, regulate blood flow from the arterioles into capillaries. Okay, so smooth muscle cells in arterioles, where they branch to form capillary, they actually regulate the blood flow from arterioles into capillaries. Okay, so the blood flow is regulated from arterioles to capillaries by smooth muscle cells. Now, veins. Veins carry blood toward the heart. Okay, the blood vessels carrying blood toward the heart is known as vein. That is why the pulmonary vein is containing oxygenated blood or oxygen rich blood from lungs to heart. And rest of the body veins are containing deoxygenated blood, because deoxygenated blood is rich to reaching to heart. Deoxygenated blood is reaching to heart from rest of the body to heart by veins. So veins are the blood vessels which carry blood towards the heart. After blood passes through capillaries, it enters the smallest vein called venule. Just like arteriole, it is known as venule in case of veins. From the venules, it flows into progressively larger and larger veins until it reaches the heart. Just like artery, in case of veins also, it is having three layers: tunica interna, tunica media, and tunica externa. The walls of veins have same three layers as the arteries. Although all the three layers are present, there is less smooth muscle and connective tissue. This makes the wall of veins thinner than those of arteries. Okay, so what makes the wall of vein thinner than the arteries? That is smooth muscle, which is related to the fact that blood in the veins has less pressure than arteries. Okay, blood in the vein having less pressure than arteries. Obviously, in case of arteries, mainly heart is pumping the blood, and the pressure generated from heart is obviously more in arteries than in comparison to veins. Because the wall of veins are thinner and less rigid than arteries, veins can hold more blood. Okay, because the walls of veins are less rigid than arteries, so wall means vein are holding more blood in comparison to arteries. Now, almost 70% of total blood volume is in the veins at any given time. Now, medium and large veins have venous valves. Okay, medium and large veins having venous valves. Venous valves are especially important in arms and legs, where they prevent the backflow of blood in response to pull of gravity. Okay, that means you can understand the concept that when we are standing also, the um, returning of blood from legs and hands are coming to heart, means from the very low point of our feet, blood are also returning from feet also, right? From our legs, from our hands, blood is also returning from these parts of our body through veins. So, how the return from the against gravity, how this is happening? This is happening by the pressure generated by heart, which is carried out from artery, and this pressure is continuing, but pull of gravity is always there. Pull of gravity is not vanished in our body. So these valves are protecting the blood from backflow. Means due to the pull of gravity, blood can backflow in veins. So these valves you can see in this picture, here is a valve. Here is a door-like structure. Here is a door-like structure. So it is a valve present in vein. So this type of valves are preventing the backflow of blood due to pull of gravity. Oh, it's 9:02. Okay. So I think we should stop now. We will continue tomorrow. I think you are having next class. So sit comfortably, upright your spine, close your eyes, adapt namaskar.